Greeting and welcome to the Intensive Success Growth. I am your host, Nishant Sharma. Please give warm welcome to our guest, Vicki Hamilton. Vicki is a coach and technologist. Uh, Welcome, Vicki.
Thank you.
Okay, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, that's a very interesting story. So I come from a household where both my parents were in education, and my father was actually going for his PhD. And I'm telling my age now, but back in those days, they had computer cards that we used to get technology and to get data and statistics and research and information. So I did a lot of his research and used the technology capabilities in order to be able to do it. I loved it. It was like, oh my gosh, this is interesting. I like doing this. This is great. So that was my first exposure into technology. And then when I went to college, or before I went to college, I worked in a bank and I was a proof operator. So the thing that codes your checks, puts the amount on it, the dates on it, and you drop it in a machine, all of that was computerized. So I decided to major in management information systems because I love business and I love technology. So it was the exposure that got me interested in doing it in the first place, in terms of wanting to get into technology. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do in technology, but I knew I loved the marriage of both of those, and I knew that I wanted to do something with technology.
Okay. What are the top three reasons why do people fail?
Top three reasons people fail. Well, first of all, I think it's important to understand my definition of fail. Fail is a first attempt in learning. And if we don't look at it, if we look at it as we're learning something, and it may go well, it may not. It's not about true failure. To me, failure comes when you don't learn from what happened previously. So I think when it comes to the first time in terms of failing, it's really about, one is fear. We're scared. We don't know what's going to happen. We can't predict outcomes, and we get scared. The other thing I think is confidence. We lose confidence in ourselves, our abilities, our capabilities, and what we can do to move forward. So I think that's another reason people fail, is confidence. And third is exposure and capabilities. If we have not been exposed to different ways of doing things, or have the tools and the technologies and methodologies to make it happen, how can you succeed? So you need to have that exposure. You need to have the tools that have been placed in front of you for what you want to do, so that you can begin to move forward. So I think it's important that you're not asked to do something without any foundation. Otherwise, it is all a learning experience. It's not about an attempt in learning. It's truly a learning experience. So I think those are the three things.
Okay. How anyone can get exposure in any niche?
So I think exposure comes in many different ways. Think about it. Today, we're exposed to technology just by our telephones, right? And we have apps that come on our phones. We do a lot of transactions on our phones. All of that is digital technology. So you can get excited about using it. You might get excited about developing it. How does it get developed? What does that look like? There are so many things that are present today that were not present when I came along, where you can learn. If you decide you want to find out what is the basis of what an app means, go get a YouTube. There's so much information out there that's free, that you get an opportunity to explore. You get an opportunity to learn a little bit, to say, am I interested, before I go all the way. So I think there's lots of means out there to get that exposure. Secondly, I think that it's in your network, the people that you're around. If you know somebody who might be working a job or opportunity in technology and you want to learn from them, have a conversation. People love to talk about what they do and talk about the knowledge of what they bring. Sit down and have a conversation with them and find out how they do their job, what's included in their job, how do they get prepared for that job. Learn a little bit more. And if you really want to take it to the next level, ask them to shadow them. Can I come to your job and shadow you, right? Do you all allow job shadowing where I can come and observe what you do during the day? That's what's happening. And that leads me to my third point. I think there are a lot of organizations that exist today that offer opportunities where they have events that expose you. They have seminars, they have panels, they have discussions where you can see demos, where you can see things that are going on. You can understand the different processes that happen. You can get exposed to the different kinds of technology jobs that are out there, in terms of moving forward. But technology is the basis of everything we do. And I think that's why STEAM is so important: science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Everything that we do in those areas is the foundation of anything else. You can't do accounting without doing technology. You can't do HR without doing some technology. You can't do your phones without doing everything has a technology foundation. So I think it's really a matter of going to those events, going to those associations, participation, going to your networks, getting introduced to people that may be doing things you think you're interested in, explore YouTube and all the things you can to see if it's something you like, try it before you buy it, kind of deal, before you move forward into it, so that you can understand what's going to be expected when you get into that role or function.
Okay. So what is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Oh my gosh, and I have so many. Let's see, where do I start? Okay, I'll tell a failed story that I had. I got an opportunity to be a chief operating officer at an organization, and I always wanted to find out if I wanted to be a COO. One way to do it was to try it, right? And I got the opportunity to do that. And during the course of being there, one of the senior leaders in sales decided to leave the organization, right? And I'm always like, oh, I'll help anywhere. So I raised my hand. I said, oh, I'll help with sales. It wasn't about I wasn't getting any more money or anything. It was really about we needed somebody to lead the organization. So I said, I'll lead sales. And so I took on the sales group. And I know that the one thing that motivates salespeople is money. That's why they do it. Anything that's around money, any contest, anything that means that they can gain something, that's what they do. That's part of the nature. That's what drives them. However, when you're trying to run a business and you're trying to project and predict your sales and what's going to happen, what I didn't understand, I knew it intuitively, but I didn't understand all the psychology behind it till later, was that they're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you everything that's on their doc. Why? Because they don't want you to hold them accountable if it doesn't come through. They don't want you to hear that number and go, okay, I'm counting that number in. And then when it doesn't happen, it's a big ordeal. So trying to draw information out of them, trying them to update systems with who are your customers, who are you talking to, what are you projecting, they didn't want to do any of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, how do you run a business when nobody wants to tell you anything? They don't want you to, they don't want to be held accountable. When you go out on visits with them, of course, they're going to go to the customers that are all about yay, 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 yay. And they'll let you close a deal or two, while you're out there with them. But you're not going to get to the ones that they need help with or the challenges that they're having, because they want to be seen as being successful. And so what I realized is I'm too left brain. I'm too much of what is it? What are the facts? How much are you bringing in? What does it look like? What's the risk around it? Put a percentage on it. Even if you put it in and you think it's a 20%, at least put 20% in there so that at least we can start with the basis of something. That does not mesh with the sales mentality. So I learned I do not want to directly lead a sales team. And I failed at it. I was like, okay, I can't get these people to come around. It's not happening. I failed at it. But I got a great deal of learning. I also got a great deal of respect for what it takes to be a salesperson and what it takes to go out there to push a product or a service, get turned down. No, I don't want that, and have to start over and go back to your boss and say, well, I had 3 meetings this week. One got canceled. One said that they weren't interested. And the third one said, I'll think about it. So I have nothing to show for the table, but somebody says a prospect, I'll think about it. Well, how warm do you think that prospect is? And that's where it adds that extra pressure of accountability. So I learned a lot from it, but it's not something that I ever want to do again. I do not ever want to be a sales manager, a sales leader. I just don't want to do that again.
Okay. What's your company motto?
My company motto. I have several of them, but I think the one thing that we stand for in terms of moving forward is there's only one thing you can count on, and it's change. And our ability to adapt to change our ability to adapt to change is what makes us successful.
Okay. Who is your ideal client?
So because I have multiple services, I do things on the technology side. I look for any company or organization that's doing a large scale IT deployment, where it's a new software, new system, new thing, or they have a strategic initiative that they're doing in the technology realm. Because we can come in and help with strategy and change management and program management to help them run smoothly with successful measures and metrics to make that happen. So that's one thing. The second thing is that on my coaching side, I really service 3 types of clients. I do my corporate clients that come from those technology initiatives that I'm doing, helping them to learn how to adapt to change, how to lead with change, how to deal with those things that are coming that are going to be different processes, different strategies, and different things than what they're used to. How do we cope? How do we deal? What are the extra tools in my toolbox I need to make that happen? The second type of coaching I do is individual coaching. They may be looking for leadership coaching or career coaching, but really looking to see where they can go next. Some people are just struggling with, I really want to sharpen this skill, or I really want to learn this talent, or I really want a thought partner that can help me see things from a different perspective so that I can grow and develop and do more. So that's the second client. The third client is because I've been on the corporate side of the world and I now have my own business, I've seen both. I've been on both sides of the table. I was on the side of the table that said, no, we don't need your services or your products today, and that's not going to work for us. Or no, I don't have the budget for it, that's not going to work. I've been on that side, as well as now I'm on the entrepreneur side saying, I have a service or a product to offer you, right? So I get both sides. So because of that, a lot of small companies and entrepreneurs reach out to me. How can we sell better to that other side? What can we do? How can we improve on our business model, our strategies, and look at them differently so that we can grow? So on that side, it's a different, it's about entrepreneurs and small businesses. So I have a corporate solution that I'm looking for large scale deployments. I'm looking for major strategic initiative rollouts. I have coaching that I do for corporate, individual, and businesses.
Okay. How do you find your ideal client in coaching?
Well, it's interesting. we all know that it is important to market. You got to market yourself because there's a lot of competition. So you have to be able to say what sets you apart from others. On the technology side, what sets my team apart is all of my team members are program management and change management certified, which is very hard to find. It's a very hard skill set to find. But when you have it, they can play either role, and that's very beneficial to them, to organizations in terms of moving forward. And my coaching actually comes from people who say, "Oh my gosh, I see what you've done. I see where you are, and I'd like to gain this from you, or I'd like to gain that from you." So a lot of that comes through my marketing efforts as well. I have a large network. I try to stay involved. I try to stay out there. Try to be visible on all platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, trying to get there. I'm just now starting into the TikTok world, because that's something that's growing and developing. We got to get out into TikTok. So it's really about your marketing efforts. And I have to say that I have a phenomenal chief marketing officer that works with me and does my strategy and helps me to move forward. And we think about what's coming down the pipe, what's changing. So usually about June or July in the mid-year, I've already started my trajectory of what I'm going to accomplish for the following year and what it's going to look like and where I'm going, etc. I start thinking about it after first quarter. I actually put it into motion as to what I'm going to do after second quarter. So the third and fourth quarter is really a well-oiled machine of getting things in order so that I've already sold what I need to do the first half of the next year. So it's a constant evolution. But I get most of my clients through a lot of marketing efforts. I get a lot of referrals. People referring me on to someone else. I get clients from speaking engagements. And so I speak at organizations too, at events and conferences and things like that. So I get clients that way too.
Okay. Do you use any paid advertisement?
Do I use any what?
Paid advertisement like Google.
Oh, paid advertisement. Well, in my social media and in my marketing strategy, there are certain things that are paid for, and there are certain things that I will do that gives me paid sponsorships. For example, I'll do a sponsorship, a paid sponsorship, because it's going to get me visibility to X, or gets me in the room with certain people that are my ideal clients that I could potentially sign on for opportunities and things like that. So yes, I do a mixture of paid and non-paid. Absolutely.
Okay. What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful to be above the ground today. I'm grateful to be breathing today. I have so much to be grateful for. My business is doing well. We're thriving. We're moving forward. I'm having, opportunities I didn't think I would ever see myself in. Got a lot of things in the works that, look like they're going to get signed, and we won't jinx that, but looks like it's going to get signed and to move forward. So it's been a great season. So I'm just very, very grateful to be where I am today, to be above the ground, to be functioning, to impacting and helping other families by being able to employ other team members and seeing them grow and develop, see my clients grow and develop. I'm grateful for it all.
Okay. How do you start your day?
How do I start my day? Well, the very first thing I do is pray, right? I got to have my time of Thanksgiving, my time of prayer, and it's my time of getting strength. And I also go work out 5 days a week for an hour. So I do get my exercise in, in the mornings, because I know if I don't get it done in the morning, it ain't gonna happen, because calendars just get busy and time gets busy. But I'll go do my exercise. And then I have that time in the morning where, I have my cup of coffee and I'm sitting down and taking what I did the night before. My habit is the night before, I look at what's on my calendar, what's coming up, and what I need to address. And that's sitting on my desk when I come in the next morning. So I come in the next morning, having already done that, I'm actually starting to work through what I'm doing that day. I've already got things in works and I just hit the ground running. Because a lot of times by the time I go to work out, I come back, get dressed, come down to my office, and I'm looking at that. I leave myself about an hour before everybody comes in, meetings start, so that I can really get going on what I looked at the day before that has to get done, and where I'm going to be working, what I need to accomplish that day. And so then I go to work, and I work until a certain hour in the evening. And then when I get to that point, I review what I'm going to do for the next day, have it down and ready, and I turn the lights out and walk out my office.
Okay. So who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
I wish I could tell you that I had a mentor. I think at this stage, I don't have official mentors. What I have is I have surrounded myself with people that have expertise in many different areas, and I can call and have a thought partner. So if you're an expert, example, in emotional intelligence, and I'm talking about something that I know that could help with, I might pick up the phone and say, look, I'd like to talk to you about this. I'd love to get your perspective, right? Because that is your specialty. That's what you know a lot of knowledge about. So I've just surrounded myself with a bunch of smart people everywhere in a lot of different areas that I know that I can pick up the phone and have a thought partner with and have a conversation.
Okay. What would you like to say about your guest experience on this show?
What would I like to say about my what?
The guest experience on this show.
Well, look, I love the guest experience. And I think anytime you can get on podcasts, you can get on, as I mentioned, you can do speaking in front of other people, anything you can do to share, I'm all for it. Because let's face it, the more we share, the more we give hope. The more we give hope, the better the economy and the world will be. Because more and more people can succeed, more and more people can do. And isn't that what we're here for? You can't take any of that stuff with you when you die. You can't. It ain't like you're going to take all your billions of dollars with you. It's not like you're going to take all the material things with you when you die. It doesn't go with us. So the point is, let's share our knowledge. Let's share what we have. Let's give back to others so that we can make this a better world, a better place to be in. So if I don't say but one thing that helps one person, it was worth the time.
Okay. How can we support you?
You can support me by several ways. Number one, you can follow my company, and follow my site. I am on LinkedIn at Vicki Wright Hamilton. I am on, I have a website, VickiWrightHamilton.com. I have a YouTube on VickiWrightHamilton.com. You can follow all of them, subscribe to all of them, and so that you get information. The second thing you can do is if you feel like anything that you've heard today, there is something that my company can offer to you, get in touch with me. I would love to have a conversation.
Okay. So what's your final word?
My final word is for all of you out there that have dreams, that have thoughts, that have desires, don't give up, don't stop. Keep going, keep striving, because just because it may not be your season this season, doesn't mean your season isn't around the corner. We don't ever know when, we don't ever know how, we don't ever know that person that's going to say, I want to give them a chance. I know they may not have this, but I want to give them a chance. I believe in them. And that's all we need. All we need is people to believe in us and to give us that opportunity. So don't give up. Keep going.
Okay. Thanks, Vicky, for sharing your wisdom with us on the behalf of our community and team. We really appreciate you. Until the next time, all good wishes to you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the honor of being here.